hinder you. Don't you let where you've been hinder you. Don't let what they've said hinder you. Don't you let your past hinder you. You're a woman without limits. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. A woman without limits. Yes, you are. There's nothing the enemy can do to stop what God has for you. There's nothing the enemy can do to stop what God has for you. You're a woman without limits. Woman, 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 woman without limits. Na 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 na. Woman without limits. Woman. We started on a show last week with a wonderful, wonderful woman, Sonnie Gitonga. She has a story, I'm telling you, that's like a myth. Went through so much hell and God saw her through. And this is what we say. Whatever it is that you've had to endure in life, it's never for your bad. It's always for your good. And if you embrace it and allow God to use that situation, guess what? It's going to become a mighty, mighty testimony. Do you know mighty big testimonies are built out of our troubles? So you're watching Woman Without Limits. My name is Reverend Kathy Kiuna, and I'm so delighted you could tune in. If you didn't tune in last week, we'll try and put it on YouTube. Pray and call us and just urge us, and we might just help you in that area. Sonnie.
So it really broke us, and we just went back home, and then we decided, oh, let's just go to the hospital. Then we went back to the hospital to take her things, and when we went, the lady that was there told us, immediately you left, had anyone come back to pick something, you would have found your mom dead. Because immediately you left, she just screamed. She screamed like the whole floor, everyone heard from the whole floor.
What?
Yeah, they said she screamed and just
When?
So I just went. Maybe she was feeling pain away, my children. They just, yeah. So
she didn't get to see your hairs?
She didn't get to see her hairs.
Maybe Jesus allowed her. Just they look nice.
Yeah, so she didn't get to see her hairs.
Yeah.
No, it was very tough because people don't understand what pain and grief does to you.
And now here you're a teenager.
I'm a teenager. I'm 18. I don't know. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't even have my results. I don't know where. It was a very defining moment for all of us. And
you're saying people don't understand how?
People don't understand. People don't understand. And even the people who are grieving you take everything so personal. We normally, in our church, we used to do, like, when it was Valentine's time, we used to have like a dinner. The youth used to have a dinner. So the guys from church had come to see my mom that 12th at noon time. Then in the evening, on the 11th, they'd come to see her. Then they went to have the dinner. So when I came from the hospital, I went to church, and I found people in their dinner dresses, looking nice, happy, with flowers. And I just, with music coming from that room, and I went and stood at the door, and I peeped, and I saw, goodness, all my friends who had come to see my mother are all laughing now and smiling. I thought the world would stop for everybody. And I hoped it would. I wished it would. I mean, like mine had stopped. Please, exactly. Yeah. But it's
feel
not
with me.
But as much as I would feel with you, there's a journey that you have to travel alone. They had their business. Wow. They were going back to church. And you know what? It gave me a lot of bitterness. I hated all of them.
How can they be laughing and celebrating?
They just left my mom in that state. Imagine. Yeah. So I really felt bad, and that's where my bitterness began. Even with my church, And it wasn't their fault. I mean, it was not, it was,
Of course,
it was,
because life has to go on.
it has to go
That's
on.
just the
And that's,
unfortunate bit,
yeah.
and that's the reality. Like, hello, wake up. That's just the reality. Life has to go on.
You know, you're saying that, and I'm remembering the day that my mom died, my neighbors were making chapatis. You know, the chapati, you cannot hide when...
The one you
that smell.
the one you went to dig for.
You know, no, my neighbors from home, yeah?
No, I'm saying,
Yeah.
I'm remembering
Exactly, imagine. Imagine, and now, imagine, and now someone, my mom has died, and now these people are... They are making chapatis. And I'm sure maybe they had started preparing, and just because my mother had died, they had to continue cooking. Na hiyo harufu ya chapo inanuka all over. And we were in the house and we were thinking, are they serious? Next door neighbors, they're making chapos and we're in the house mourning. As much as they would come and say, oh, sorry, what do you want? They would support us, but still they would go and continue spinning their chapatis. Then I saw the person, the shopkeeper where my mom used to buy stuff from, and nakukopa pia. Ule mtu alikuwa amemwekea kitabu kake kale kadeni. He was busy selling, and I'm like, your customer, faithful customer, it should have stopped. But I mean, their lives don't stop.
Yeah.
Your life has stopped, and everyone else's life is moving on. And that is where bitterness starts. You start becoming bitter. You find someone looking nice and you're thinking, anyway, when is in the salon and not because of money. I mean, at this stage, I'm just seated in the house. I can't even do anything. Yet you're looking all like this.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, when someone is grieving, there's a lot of things that you go through that nobody would understand. Then I really became bitter again because, like in church, we used to give 20 shillings a month. Then 20 bob, yeah. We used to give 20 bob a month. That was for our kitty to do stuff, maybe for tea and all that. So I found myself, my name on the list of shame after 2 months. That time I was so bitter. I was like,
of people who could not.
Yeah, but I had gone back to church, and now I'm thinking, you guys, you don't understand that my mom died. You don't understand this 20 shillings is really hard to get. We're just the 4 of us at home. I mean, life is, and I was so bitter, and I left church.
In bitterness.
And I came to Tintin.
Oh, okay. To Jubilee Christian Church itself.
And I came to Tintin.
Yeah.
I couldn't go to church. But now I started feeling like people, I mean, everything that someone was doing was directed to me. You know, when you talk about your mother in my presence, I used to feel, you know, as in how insensitive can you be?
Yeah. People still have mothers.
Imagine, you know. When you talk about when you talk about, oh, Dule mother, I'm going to say, no, I don't know where to be with mother, then I would hate you. So you can imagine how many enemies I made.
This is good, eh? This is amazing because it's real.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yet it wasn't their fault.
It wasn't.
It wasn't their.
You should have been looking within.
Yeah.
But you're now looking without.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't have known that. That is where I was. Bitter. That is what life just brings you. Then you hear your friends' parents telling them about the courses they should take, and I'm like, I have just finished school. I'm here. You're talking to your daughter about the course. My friend was being told, first of all, you're going to go for driving. Then after driving, and I'm thinking, unipe moja basi, as in, you just throw one this side.
Yeah.
And I hated that family.
Like, how can you be taking your daughter to drive?
And yeah.
And my mom died.
My mom died.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're not sensitive to me. I mean, you're just here talking about colleges, and they don't know. Then you do computers, then you do typing, then you do.
And there's nobody to even.
There's nobody.
Tell you what to
do. But now God had to come Himself and heal my heart.
Amen.
Because now I was so bitter. I was very, very bitter. So
did you know you were bitter? Or you knew it much
I didn't know
later?
I was bitter. I knew it much later.
Right.
I knew it, and I now see it in the orphans that I deal with, the way they come with a lot of bitterness. And now I understand. I tell them, you know what?
I've been there.
Yeah. And people's life have to go on. It's you to deal with yourself. I mean, you're grieving, you're mourning, yeah, but you have to deal with yourself.
Right.
Yeah. So
how long did it take you to grieve and to mourn and to?
For me, it took God, because as much as I had like stopped going to church, I didn't stop going for morning glory, because now that was my personal time with God. So I still used to go for morning glory. So when every time I used to go for morning glory, I would cry a lot. I would wake up and cry. I would sit down and just cry and say nothing. This particular day I woke up and I had ulcers. Then I woke my sisters. That was after around 3 months after my mom's death. I woke up my sister and I told them, you know what? I have ulcers. And they told me, we will lala mpaka wacha asubuhi ifike. Then I remember the last time that I'd called my mom because I had ulcers. She sat with me through the whole night till morning.
Wow. And
I said, wow, my life has really changed. And actually, that is the time I started desiring to have my own person. Who is going to take care of me? Who is going to, if something happened to me, like if I'm in this state, now I started desiring to get married. If something like this happens to me now, who do I talk to? Yeah, my sisters will, they, not that they're not feeling for me, but where you sort to, where lala to then. So I woke up and went to church that morning and I cried. Then I felt someone sit, someone sit. You know the way you feel like that? Yeah. Someone sit. Then I opened my eyes and I checked. I saw nobody. Then I felt, I say that was my encounter with God. Then I felt, again, someone move closer to me. Then I looked and I didn't feel someone, but I wasn't feeling like it's, I was feeling comfortable and I felt peace. Then I closed my eyes. I wasn't scared. So I felt like I had been, I always say I felt like I was in a manyatta. I felt like we were just two people squeezed in a small place. But it was it was so peaceful. Then you know what, I had cry no more. Then I woke up and I opened my eyes and I was like, then I immediately opened cry no more. Then I opened my Bible and I opened Psalms 86 and I was just led to read that psalm. I read Psalms 86. But the shocking thing was verse 15, 16. It says, hear my cry, O Lord, be merciful to me because I serve you just as my mother did. Believe me or not, get your Bible. True. I didn't believe it was the Bible saying mother. I was like, I looked for other, the way people read Bibles in church. I looked for other versions to read. Others say, some Bibles say your maid servant. But my Bible said mother. My Good News Bible said mother. It said mother. Then I went home and took my mom's Kikuyu Bible. Maybe I wasn't understanding English. I just read again and I saw it says the same thing. And I knew this was, I knew, Kweli, God, you are in this. Because I had blamed God. I was asking God, really, God, how would you allow me to go through all this? Yeah. And all this time, I used to think that my mom would resurrect. I used to think, because now she's going to wake up as a powerful woman of God. She'll be giving her stories. I was dead and then I resurrected. I knew now this was the launching of a ministry. Oh.
The resurrection ministry.
Exactly. Her stories, we would travel and I would be traveling with her all over talking about the way she died and resurrected.
This is she.
Yeah.
So you'd be the introducing one.
Exactly.
This is she that
resurrected. Yeah. We would write, we would be interviewed all over. That is what I used to think. I used to think this is a testimony being created. And when I looked at my mom in the coffin and saw she had changed color, still I wasn't convinced. I still knew she was going to wake up. I said, okay, God, the miracle you perform with people who don't have hands, by giving them hands, I know you're going to. But now when I saw her covered with soil, now I knew this one is gone. That is actually when now it hit me. So I knew that God was in this. I knew when I read that, I felt that is where my comfort started. Nobody would have comforted me. Nobody would have comforted me.
The Holy Spirit himself.
The Holy Spirit himself. He had to come and he had to come and comfort me.
Right.
Then later, the second day when I went to church, the same spot that I had, I used to have my place, my aura. That is the corner that I used to pray from. Then anytime I found someone there, I used to feel very bad. Then I took another place. I would take a different position. That day I was in that position, the day that I had an encounter with God. Then this other time, I was also at the same point, and I finished praying and I walked out and someone told me, hey, Nani's mother died. And I said, what? The dad had died earlier. Then I said, okay, let me go to their place that morning. So I went to their place. So when this lady saw me, And I told her, I mean, it's going to be well. She cried and told me, you are the one telling me that. And the way you were, I mean, we thought that you're going to die after your mom's death. And she was like, if you have told me that, that was now the beginning of my ministry, the birth of my Scars to Stars ministry. That is when I knew, wow, if she's responded like that, then now.
So for real, whatever doesn't kill you only makes you stronger.
Yes, yeah,
Isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Then I went to, when I was in the office, I had started writing not my story. I wasn't writing like a book. I was just expressing myself. Every time I wrote about I wrote a lot. I wrote a lot of stuff. Then one time I went for lunch and my friend maximized what I was writing and she read. And when I came from lunch, she told me, you know what? I would love to read more of this. And I was like, really? And that's how how I started writing.
The first book was written.
Yes, that's how my first book was written. Yeah.
Stars.
When she told me, I know your story isn't, well, I'd love to read. Then I said, okay, fine. Then I continued writing. Then when I was there, someone came, a friend came. We used to have photocopying in our office then. She came to do photocopy. Then she was like, oh, I'm so stressed. I'm tired of my job. I really want to go to school and do something. I was like, why don't you go to school? She said, hey, kid, I can't afford to go to school. I said, why? I mean, your parents can't support you. Maybe you can. She said, I don't have parents. And I laughed. And she almost walked out. She was like, you're laughing at me. Because she was pretty, looked nice. I also realized that I had, there was orphans are stigmatized. When you see an orphan, when you see someone looking pretty and they tell you they don't have parents, you're like because there's there's a face that orphans are supposed to have. So I was like, what? You're an orphan? Then I laughed. And she was actually crying. And she asked me, you're laughing at me? I said, no, I'm laughing with you. I'm also an orphan. And we laughed. We really laughed. And I said, wow. So, I mean, this can actually, and that is how that moment, I told her I am going to organize a meeting for all of us to meet. If we can meet and just laugh and share and laugh. And that is how I organized my first meeting. It was on 21st June 2007 for the orphans.
That was the first one?
That was the very first one. Yeah.
Wow. I came for the how many one?
You came for the 2009 is when you came.
Oh
you came in and you were so honored. Yeah.
So many orphans.
And mom came to speak, imagine.
Yeah.
She came to, it was.
I'm nice like that.
She's nice like that.
Oh my God, and that was so awesome.
You were so, yeah.
And then you were so pretty and so young. And I'm like, oh my God, how did she even get here? So now you started the meeting.
We started the meetings.
And you would do them how often?
We would do them from then to date. We do them every first Sunday of the month in the afternoon.
Wow.
Yeah, every first Sunday of the month.
So who is invited to the meetings?
The orphans. The orphans come for the meetings. Then sometimes
Whatever
we have
age?
15. Now I do 15 to 35.
Okay.
Young adult orphans.
Yeah.
Young adult orphans. And it's because when I lost my mom, I was looking for help. I'm always aggressive. And I really wanted help for myself. I was now a troubled girl, and I looked for help. I went from organization to organization. And they were like, how old are you? 18. No, we don't help. Orphans are the young kids. We don't, orphans, an 18-year-old is not an orphan. And I'm thinking, I'm not, yesterday I was calling someone mom, and today I'm not calling someone mom. Then how would you just tell me I'm not an orphan?
What does that even mean?
Yeah. So I realized there's
and an
this.
18-year-old is a child.
A baby.
That's such a young person.
Yeah. So I realized this age group is not taken care of. I always say it's a forgotten generation in the orphan and vulnerable care children. So I decided I am going to do 15. I had said to 30. Then I met a guy who was 32. Actually, the wife called me and he wanted to commit suicide. Alikuwa amekunywa GV. He was not serious.
GV to die.
GV to die. And his lips were evident. So I'm not sure whether he had swallowed. His lips were purple and his tongue. So I'm not sure whether he had actually swallowed it.
GV can
so he was like, hey,
it can only heal every kid. Oh my God.
So he was like,
no, he was not. He
didn't want to
just
die.
wanted to
attention,
attention, guys.
So
I'm killing it. Yeah.
Maybe the chupa was empty and so he took the GV.
Yeah.
So they've called me and so I went and it was like, so what's happening? Hey, mimi naniringianga, ako na mama na mimi sina mama. Hey, then he had a photo of the mother or somewhere in the house.
Yeah.
Hey, mama yangu vile amenifanya vitu mingi. And he started whining and complain. And I saw, what? How old are you? 32. I said, wow. So this is also, this is someone that is not taken care of, that we need to.
Right.
Then another guy came, and then all of a sudden, you know, the first meeting had 21 people, and I didn't know any orphan by that time. But somehow my path was just crossing with orphans. Somehow my path was just crossing with orphans. So I meet this guy and he tells me, oh, you know, I'm so stressed. He's 34. I want to get married, but I went to my girl's place. We've dated for 2.5 years. So she's been like she's been postponing my meeting the parents, but now I went to meet them. Then we had a very nice time. They made lunch. Then when they asked me what I do, I told them then they asked me about my parents, and I told them my parents died. And when he went back, the girl was told, I do not want you to marry that guy. Then I said, what? So I thought, now this is 34. Then I closed it at 35. I said, and he was very, very bitter. And actually all those people came for the first meeting and we had an amazing meeting. Wow. We spoke about so many things, about so many challenges.
Also, you let them also speak?
Yeah, I let them speak. They said a lot. There's one who actually stopped prostitution because of the meetings. She said, all of you, nobody here does prostitution to take care of their family. No. She said, okay, since my mom died, this is what I've been doing to take care of it was an amazing meeting. So we gave one lady, we had like feedback forms and the biodata form. So when one lady couldn't fill, she was 16, a pretty girl. I was like, mbona ujaze form? She called me and told me, siwezi andika. I said, huwezi andika? So when the mom died, the grandmother didn't take her to school. You know, so long as I'm giving you food, shelter, and clothing, then that is now when we saw there was a need for school. Wow. Initially we were just supposed to have counseling, yes, empowerment, just bond, and exactly, out and,
yeah, you know,
strength to strength transfer. You know, when I talk and you talk,
yeah.
Then I saw, wow, there's a big need. There's a big need for so many things, for counseling, for school, and now the first team to join from one joint in. After that symposium that we came to in 2010, it was the first time that the first lot of 4 people went to secondary school, and all of them joined.
So who sponsors you?
I got like those ones. I would get bursaries. I would run after bursaries. You know, it started from like home. My husband has really supported me.
Wait, you will come to the husband.
But you'll
come to the husband.
Yes,
right now we are still in the orphans. We shall come there. You tell us what is this now. What do you mean? You know.
Yeah. So that person, let me know. He was really so supportive. So we began like the first team went to school with a letter. I went to, luckily that time my sister was working with, she just joined like the government. She was working with one of the MPs, and it was in the same jurisdiction. So it was very easy for me to get bursaries at the beginning. Okay. So I got bursaries. I took my kids to school. Then they'd come from cleaning toilets. Like one had come from cleaning toilets. And I told him, you have to stop cleaning toilets. And he said, I'm ready. And he waited in Scars to Stars for 1 year, coming for meetings every single month. Stopped working. Okay, he was working, but now he was ready to stop working as soon as he joined school. So immediately I got my first bursary. He went to school. At 21, he went to Form 1. He cleared school. He cleared school at 24. Okay. At 24. At 24, and now he's in second year. He's in the university. He's in the second year in the university, and he's doing so well. And so many. So we just started like that.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we wouldn't get the bursaries. I would go to school. I like stood in as their parents. I would go for meetings. I would write letters when the fees is late.
For
I
all
would
the
work.
kids?
Yeah, I would work, and I remember like there's a time my 4 kids were going to be deregistered because they had not like paid the money for. I worked for them. They needed 19,000, and I worked for them to get the 19,000 because you can't. There's money that you can't pay with a bursary. So I worked for them to do their Form 4, and they finished. Then I said, I'll never join university. I told God, I'm never going to join the university until one of my kids joins university, because I don't want them to say, you're successful because you went to school, because you've gone to university. I didn't want them to say, oh, you're better because you have, you have a better opportunity. I told God, I really want to go to school, but just allow at least one of my kids to go to university, then I will go to university. Wow. Then when it came, I got a scholarship for 3 through the US ambassador's wife, who is also a very good friend to our organization. She called me and told me, I have an opportunity for 3 kids. And you said I didn't have money to go to university, and there's no time I said, okay, take me to the university. I said, now the 3 can go to university. So the 3 now, apart from, we have 4 in university. Okay, 2 have finished. Now we have 2. 1 is finishing this year. So they got scholarship, they got upkeep money, they got everything. I mean, they would be given everything.
This deserves a mighty, not even a small.
Yeah.
They would be given everything.
They would be given everything, upkeep money, and I mean, yeah. And now my son, the one that is in Form year 2, and now I've been struggling with him. But 2 months ago, a lady came and visited our organization and said, and had his story, because like he normally uses 70 shillings for food every day. The money that some people just waste, So sometimes you don't even have that money to send him. So he said his story, and now this lady said, I want to take you and pay the remaining, because you're very determined. Wow. Because that guy used to sleep in class. He would eat the food that was remaining. He would talk to the watchman like, nibakishie githeri mebakia, that is all I'm going to take for supper, because nyumbani hangeweza kusoma, because there are very many in the house. And you see, he got a B+.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And see all my kids in school.
Never Give Up on God, a brand new ministration by Reverend Kathy Kiuna featuring Chevelle Franklin.
Exercise your faith, you will never be late. Rebuke your unbelief, stand still, it's worth the wait. More than enough, Jesus he will ever be.
To download this song, bonyeza *699 *107#.
By your joy, it's coming in a morning light. Akisema anatenda.
And the most amazing thing is that the school, I took 4 kids to Dandora Secondary School. And the teacher would call me and tell me, please tell us what you do with your children. Because all of them are leaders in the school.
Wow.
And even in the other schools, even the rest that are in different schools are always responsible. They don't have to be very bright, but they're very responsible, they are focused, they might not perform very well, but they were leaders, in all their schools. And every time they would ask me, what happens, what do you do to them? So I say, I always tell them, I don't just start, I just don't work on the outside. We start from the inside. And when the inside is sorted, then you don't have to struggle with the outside.
Wow. Yeah.
And they got leadership skills. Most of them would come for the meetings. And also, as much as I had not helped people to go through school the first years, the most amazing thing that had happened is that the people who would come to the meetings with their heads low would now lift their heads. All of them can express themselves. They wouldn't express themselves. they didn't have confidence. Their esteem was so low. They now have self-esteem. I mean, I'm just proud of all of them.
Wow.
I'm just proud of all of them.
So you've been raising them in every
Holistically.
Holistically.
Yeah.
Wow. Feeding them, taking them to schools and all that.
Yeah. They live in their homes, but when they talk to me, I'm like their mother. You know, I'm like their mother. When they have questions, I talk to their men. When they want to get married, I really talk to their men. I told them, do you know what you're getting yourself into? This girl is looking for a husband, a father, and a mother in you. Are you going to give that? You know,
oh my God,
I love to talk to them and tell them this is because I didn't have that. I didn't have that. I didn't have that. So my husband was in trouble. He had to really.
Now tell us, because now we are there. We might as well get in. Okay. So now here you are. Your mom has died at 18. When you're 18, how long did it take you to get married?
Let me say something, and then you go back there. When I was after my healing, my encounter with God, I remember one time I came to church to Tintin, and that day it was after the evening. It was during the evening service. Then you were praying for people with Joyce, with Pastor Joyce Tender. And I came to the front. When I came, Joyce came and hugged me and started crying with me. And there were so many people to be prayed for. Then she went round and you came back and you hugged me and started crying and praying and saying, God.
Me?
Yeah.
Crying? Oh.
And I mean, for me, that one was, I always tell my husband, I think that is where now totally my healing, because I knew God understands me. God has even sent his people to just come and comfort me.
Wow.
Mothers to just come and comfort me, and yeah. So my husband.
Yes, now we are back. Okay. So now you're 18.
Yeah.
Tell us now when you got married and how did you meet with this man?
With this man, when I was in Form 2, someone came to talk to us in school. And this lady said, oh, I started praying for my husband when I was in Form 2. And you have to start praying for your husband early. So one thing that I did when I was in Form 2.
Are you hearing? You better write notes, in your heart. She started praying for her husband in Form 2.
Not for grades. When I was in, and you know what? The craziest thing is that I fasted, not for 3 days, like for my fees. I fasted for 7 days, in school.
In Form 2,
in Form
for
2,
7 days for a husband.
For a husband, as in I was praying God because
not to pass.
not to pass. Passing, I was working hard to pass. I was reading a lot to pass. So I started praying because that counselor told us, whatever you are is. I mean, the way God is preparing, you just pray that God prepares your man from an early age.
Hey.
And I started telling God, God, I am praying. I'm not getting married next week or next year, but start preparing. The way I've kept myself, keep my man for me. And I fasted with my friends, with my crazy friends. We fasted for 7 days, and we prayed for our husbands. And so I finished Form 4. My mom was very young. My mom was very, very young. She died at 35. She died at 35, and she had 4 children already. I stayed for, my mom died when I was 19, 20 years. The same year, my mom died in February. In July, I was in church. Now, the most interesting thing, remember where I had an encounter with God, that spot, that is where I was seated. And my husband was from a different church. And he would come and pray in the morning. So that particular day, I went, found, again, my photo was taken. I sat there, and I started praying. Then this guy started singing. Whenever he would sing, I wouldn't focus. He would distract me. Then I would stop praying. When I start singing, he starts praying. As in, we were like
exchanging.
We were like exchanging. So when I sat down now to read my Bible, he came and sat. He knew me. He was actually a friend to my mother. And my mother used to hint a lot of times. He used to say, this guy, Edwin is a good guy. Which is weird. And and then there's a time that he had invited me. He used to have meetings, like meetings in town, in the rallies. He used to do rallies. And one time, when I had gone with my mother to their church for morning glory, so when I went, this guy, my husband, now called me and told me and invited me. That time I was in Form 4. He invited me for their meetings, and I said, "Ay, Mr. Enda." And my mom told me, "No, you have to go." And she insisted that I go.
Are you serious?
I didn't want to go. And my mom told me, "No, you have to go." Then he invited me for a second time, and my mom would insist. Umeenda, uko na fare. End hizo meetings. You have to go. He's a very good. You have to go. So I always said
she knew something.
She was really trying
she
to.
Knew,
yeah. So that day when I sat there, he came and sat with me. He knew I'd lost my mother. It was in July. We spoke, and he told me, he encouraged me, all that. Then he left. He says, the same day he went and told his friend, "Today I met my wife." He was not my type at all. He was not my type. He was nothing close to what I thought I would date. I did not even want him to tune me.
Like, please stay very far.
Even try.
Yeah.
Yeah, because no. Oh, you don't even wear jeans.
But he wasn't even wearing jeans. Oh, women. Oh, how petty are we? And we can buy the jeans. Really? Are you going to leave a man because he doesn't wear jeans and you can buy him jeans?
You're not with it. You don't have style. You don't have... No. You just can't. Can't.
I'm looking for some style.
He would come.
Lord.
The first time I think he told me, "Oh, do you have I have this Penny Hymns tape. Would you want to watch it?" Then I said, "Okay, fine." I gave him. He gave me. Then the next time he told me, "I have a TDJX one, but I don't have somewhere to watch from. I know you guys have a VCR. Can I come and watch?" And he came and we watched, and now we started. That friendship now began. And I fought it. I fought with it. I did not want it. I fought with it. The more I fought it, the more I fell in love with him. And the more, and I would cry until God no. And my friends would come and tell me, "Umsesko na kukatia." "Nikati, please."
And Nikati?
"Please, Nikati." And my friends would come and...
You would deny him like that?
I would deny him, yeah. Because, the trousers he was wearing were not even touching his ankles. How could he? I know, please.
A chutis? Please tell me at least he had some nice socks.
No. He didn't have them. No. And the coats. And those coats pastors used to wear, the ones that shine.
Oh,
those ones.
That look like they have stones at the... Long one.
And then the 6 buttons. There's 6 buttons. I said, "Please, no."
Oh, my God.
And I denied.
Yes.
And gosh, please, wait. And the more, one day I told God, and I wrote, I told God, "Please do not make me make a mistake." That was 17th July.
Right.
And I could not sleep. I would cry.
Like, how can you do this to me? And I've been your friend, even I pray.
Yeah, and then this guy, then I just accepted him.
Oh, God.
Because by that time, I had loved him. The person I was denying was not the person that he was inside. It was the person that he was outside.
Okay.
I knew the person that he was inside. I knew, but
was
now,
a great person.
Was a great person.
Right.
A person, and I didn't marry him for who he was. I married potential. His potential. I knew that. Right now there were guys who were better than him who had.
The cars and the what?
Actually not more money. He didn't have money.
Yeah.
Not so I can't say more money.
Money.
Who had, there were guys who looked better than he did. But I knew we will go far with him. I knew what I had. I knew what he was, and I knew this is my match.
So you accepted?
I accepted.
And you said yes?
And I said yes.
And you married?
And I married him.
When did you marry?
2003, March 8th.
Wow. Oh, my God.
13 years now, almost 13 years.
13.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Wow. Yeah. It's been 13 years.
It's been 13 years.
Oh, my God.
And 13 years.
Tell us about your children.
My children, I have an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
She's an actress. She acts in Machachari. She's also a singer. She's just done her first song. And you know what? And
Machachari.
She's called Amani in Machachari. Yeah. you know what I realized? I've been working on my children and working on what they want to do because I never got someone to ask me, what do you want to do? Never. Actually, the first time that someone asked me that was my boss, and I cried. He couldn't understand why I was crying. He used to find me doing like accounts at the reception, and he called me one time and asked me, what would you want to do? There was just a receptionist, and he asked me, what do you want to do? I really cried. I had never been asked that question. So I have been planning for my life. Everybody's gonna die one time, and I'm not going to die young. But I learned that I don't have to wait. If I'd had a conversation with my mother before I was 18, probably I would have known what I was or what I was cut out to do. Because my school living certificate, my primary living certificate is written 3 things: good at composition writing, friendly to others, and good at speech giving. Those 3 are the things that I do today.
And now you're a motivational speaker.
A writer.
You're a writer,
and
an
friend,
author, and a friend.
to others.
And a
friendly to others.
Wow.
You know, actually, I wanted to come with that because it doesn't have anything else, just the 3 things.
Right.
If someone had followed through and said, oh, this is 1, 2, 3, then my mother would have been like, okay, so you can sing, you can speak, you can. So today, I follow my children from an early age.
Right.
From my youngest is 4 years. She sings when she wants to touch. She's wow. And I know she might become a singer. She might change at some point.
Do you have a boy?
Yes, I do.
The second one is a boy.
Football. He's my mariga. He's going to build me those houses.
You know, they are getting a lot of money, those people.
I know.
In 1 week like this, you do 200,000
Yeah.
pounds.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
For kicking a ball. Yeah. Let him play football.
Yeah,
you will bring tithes.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Yes, I will. Yeah. For him, I take him to play football every Saturday in the afternoon. So for my daughter, I started like doing auditions for her in the house since she was young. Actually, she's 11. She started acting in February, but I think it was late because I started giving her tuition in the house. I would call her and tell her, pretend, and the day she went.
Pretend you're so and so.
Yes, and pretend you're doing this. Pretend you have been hit by and you're crying. And I started doing auditions on her.
And she would do that?
And she would.
She would cry for
Oh,
me?
yes, she would. She would. She would.
My God, I hope you're taking cues, eh?
Yeah.
Because that's awesome.
So when she went for her interview, when she went for audition, wow. She just wowed them. She was like, she was ready. She was
because
not,
whatever they told her to do.
I mean, she had been, you know, you have to
like,
prepare
what
before.
Is it? Is it to cry?
Yeah. She actually cried. She did cry. Yeah, she cried.
What?
She cried. She was told, pretend that your auntie is mistreating you and you're sick and she's telling you to wash vyombo. And you say, wash vyombo, no, mwanamke, no. And she cried. And she cried.
Oh my God.
And she cried.
Are
and
you
she,
serious?
Yeah. So she did it.
Is she as
well.
pretty as you are?
Yes, very pretty.
Oh, wow. That's so good. So
Yeah.
you take care of them
Yes.
and show them and
them.
direct them
Yeah.
if they want to do something.
Yes.
You now direct them to
Yeah.
and help them to enhance in
Yes,
that.
like now I took her to the studio to do her first song. She did, actually she was with DJ Mo on Sunday on NTV crossover. She launched her song on Sunday. Yeah, she did. She has.
Oh my God.
She has done a lovely
At 11
song.
years,
Yeah,
she has launched a song.
she has, yeah.
Jesus.
Because, I mean, those are opportunities that we did not get. So,
I know. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
11 years, she's already. Oh my God.
and she knows
Yani
exactly
people
what
are
she
downloading
wants.
her song.
Yeah. And now I know, okay, I'm not going to skip her yet, but
I mean, that's the way.
It is
that's
exactly,
the way now. Yeah.
Exactly,
But
exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you have 3 biological and then many
very
orphans
many.
that you take care
Yes,
of.
very, very many.
And then what about now your mom's call? So you're actually bringing it out.
Yes,
you
I am.
did your first book.
Yes.
From scars
to stars.
to stars.
From scars become
this
stars.
is the first book she ever wrote.
Yeah.
A few years ago.
And you know what, Mom?
Yeah.
You remember I came, you know, when I was doing this book, I really wanted Mom to endorse it. And she's endorsed it. So I didn't have the book. I had a paper, this beautiful photo.
Yeah.
I'm very pregnant, by the way, here.
Yeah.
I'm 9 months pregnant. I had a photo, not on this material. It was on a black and white paper. So I came with it, and I came with like a synopsis of my book. and I came to your office and I told you this about this book and I explained to you and you read the synopsis and she endorsed it because I had to have it before printing it out. It's important to use what you have. You know, it's the Bible says that your gifts will take you before great men. It doesn't say that the person you know here on earth.
No.
You know, God
your
is just,
gift.
it is your gift.
Will make room for you.
So don't give excuses. Don't give
Yeah.
excuses. I don't have at all uncle. I don't know someone in the government. It's your gift that will take you, and God is going to use what you have in your hands.
Wow.
He doesn't. For me, He used my writing. It's my writing. Yeah.
Wow. Amen.
It's my writing that has opened doors to every other thing. My writing opened doors to the organization. He just used what I had. God does not go for what you don't have. But sometimes you get frustrated and so depressed because you're always looking after what you do not have. We're always frustrated because we want to be where we are not. Start with where you are. I started from the office, from that orphan that was in the office. And now started moving. I mean, you move from the known to unknown. Do not go far. Do not look for anything else outside. What you have
is within
what
already.
You need, you have it.
Yeah.
You were created with it. You have it. It's in you. So just use what you have, and then the doors are going to swing open. You don't have to get connections. Stop crying and going, I need connection. Connect with your gift.
Amen.
Connect with that inner person. You know.
Amen. Woo! That will preach. Isn't that amazing? Wow. Wow. You know, that in itself will preach.
Yeah.
Because that's the absolute truth.
Yeah.
And we all have it on the inside.
Yeah.
But we trash it or we trivialize
True,
it.
true.
It's like, So when you see a book like this, you think it was just written. But look.
Yeah.
Look at the story behind this book.
I didn't even
You know
have
what
a
I'm saying?
single cent.
Yeah.
I didn't even have money for, I had nothing.
But a pencil
completely.
was possible.
Exactly. What God had given me
Imagine.
already.
Just to scribble, you know?
Yeah.
And before you knew it, it's a book.
Voila.
And then you now finish that one and went
And
to
I
a
went to a
second
second
book.
book.
What? Ati, I blame myself.
I blame myself.
What is I blame myself?
I blame myself. I wrote it after the post-election violence. I had written, when I was writing this book, I had like a chapter on peace in Kenya. That was way back in 2000. I wrote this book when I was 25, by the way. That's when I published it, when I was 25. And at that point, I had a chapter written, Peace in Kenya. Then my editor told me this chapter doesn't fit so well in this book because I had written about, I was in 1992, 1993, I was in Eldoret during the there was violence then. And I went through so many things, all those things, staying in a church, your things being burned, seeing people killed. So I always felt guilty that I didn't put that chapter here. So I said, I am to blame. I mean, I saw tribalism from 1993. I never spoke about it. Everyone has instigated tribalism in one way or another. You've preferred a Kikuyu waka to a Luo, to a Kalenjin, to a Luya. I mean, you just look at your circle of friends. Who is in your circle? Do you have people from different tribes? You know, like in my organization, everybody, I mean, that is where Kenya is.
Even me.
Yeah, Kenya is here.
Yeah.
You have people from different tribes.
Yeah.
So I blame myself. I was just saying, I mean, stop pointing at politicians. Just point at yourself. What have you done? What role have you played
to change things or to bring them to where they are?
Exactly. Be the change that you want to see. Don't say, oh, if they didn't do this. So I was just calling, it was a call.
Who are they?
Exactly.
Who are they? If they didn't do, who are they?
Exactly. So the book is just a call to all Kenyans to take responsibility for things gone wrong in Kenya and for things gone, just everything that is wrong. So from where you are, you can play your part. I am playing my part. I am taking care of my Kenya.
You know what? We wish you all the best, Sonnie. You are doing so well. May you just continue to soar high and to keep that heart.
Thank you.
You have such a sweet spirit. You just keep it in Jesus' name.
Amen.
And now you see your 11-year-old is also catching up. Oh my God. This is Woman Without Limits. I know, without a shadow of doubt, you have been absolutely blessed today. I'm telling you, Sonnie Gitonga's story is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And you know what? You too. It doesn't matter whether you're an orphan. It doesn't matter whether you didn't even go to school at all. It doesn't matter who went against you. It doesn't matter. Just don't allow any bitterness to take root in your heart, because bitterness is a killer. It's a murderer. and it will kill you. You know what? Somebody said, I'll never forget this, that getting bitter or walking in bitterness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Guess who's going to die? It's you, because of that bitterness. Please stop taking that poison. Allow God to heal you, irrespective of what you've gone through. Don't blame people. People must be used. So don't blame them. Just allow God to be God over your life. May God transform you. May you have the most amazing, amazing week.
Awesome.